Hi, today we're at the most interesting church that we've probably been to so far, actually. We've travelled across and ventured across a beautiful river terrain to get to here. We're in the place of Santon Downham, which is on the borders of Norfolk and Suffolk. It's an amazing place, just walking along there with the trees and the woods. But we're here to look at the myths and legends of the church. Now, it was originally built in 1628. And it's got many tales over the years, from doors opening to voices on EVP recordings, to things moving to pew doors opening. It's got a variety of things that is worthwhile looking into today. And this is again what we're going to try and prove or disprove, apart from the train going past, of course. And what's also interesting here, there was an African explorer that he actually came here specifically on his quest. No one knows why, but he came on his quest to this particular church in the middle of nowhere to literally die, and he died. And he's buried here in the actual graveyard. So that's quite interesting. Stuff that's interesting about here, we're at the actual main doorway entrance, and there's been many ghost hunters, many paranormal investigators that have come here. For me personally, I felt some interesting vibes and energy from the minute I stood outside the walls there. I think it's important to know, if you don't know, that this particular settlement of Santon Downham is the first settlement ever on the lands of what is England. 500,000 BCE, and that's when the first human species actually inhabited this. And it was this area that they inhabited. And it's only over the thousands of centuries that they've dispersed and migrated. But this is the starting point of their crossing at Santon Downham, 500,000 BCE. Let's have a look through and see whether we can go through the doors and have a look inside the church to start with. An amazing energy feel already. I thought Borley Rectory, Borley Church had something, but this has actually got something much more. The feeling is absolutely incredible, absolutely incredible. And it's a really small church, but what's interesting is, what's even more interesting is that we do have, which I would expect, is the Lamb of God with the fleur-de-lis and the cross above there at the top there. Now that's just said 1,000 words to me. When I walked around the outside of the building, we're going to take you around there in a while to get you to see that. There's two carvings, exactly the same carvings that are on Roslin Chapel in Scotland. I just took a picture of it myself around there. Two carvings on the window, exactly identical to Roslin Chapel. Now, I'll let you work out the connections there, but as we go through filming over the next few weeks and months, you're going to realise the connections between all these churches and why they're so important. Our learned friend there, Simon's just going to come in and close the door. So we're inside the church, which is lovely. Great. Good. And I don't know if you can see around here, we've got everything's original, I can feel it. And oh, there he is, Bancroft, the most interesting guy here, Bancroft. He's buried here. Isn't that bizarre to have someone buried here? And he's not a priest. He was a tax collector for the crown, so he was involved in taking people's land away. So he was a very high-rated tax inspector. And it's just very interesting in that way. You can see the Exodus, okay, and the chapters of honour our father and our mother. So many people have been here, and it says that when they come to this place, do you know, I can actually feel it already. This is the pew in question that, oh my God, I can actually feel the difference. This is the pew in question that has all that doesn't want you to enter it. And I just find it so energetic. Believe what you may, but we're certainly not alone here, that's for sure. People say that when they come through here, they get a sense of a really, almost like a forceful sense. I'm going to do that, let's do that and see what happens. And there's certainly a different feel to the area. And what's even more interesting, if we can see, we have That's very interesting. In fact, it's quite interesting because the design that's actually on this particular vaulted ceiling here, again, is exactly connected to the Templars and to the Italian chapel on the Orkney Islands. Now, if I didn't know better, I would think I'm looking at part of the ceiling of the Italian chapel on the Orkney Islands. That's how fascinating that has just got me. Because what it's also got, it's got the faces, the 6 faces of redemption going round, which is interesting. And that, again, I wouldn't expect to see that in a church like this. It's fascinating, really, to be fair. It's just amazing. So we've got a lot of Templar inputs here. We've got a lot of input with connections to Roslin. We've got connections to King Henry VIII. We've got connections to tax collectors, the Crown. We've also got connections to Queen Mary, don't forget, who again was tied into Akenham Church as well. And this is the interesting point. It's quite good that we have these things here for prayer, which is quite good. It's been years since I did this. And that's just, it's interesting. It's for anyone that wants to do any research into Mary Ann Cutter, it would be quite interesting to see. And you can see what we've got here is the towel going around at different angles around the bordering here. We've got the fleur-de-lis and we've got the sprig of acacia. Now, the 3 connected, the towel, fleur-de-lis, the sprig of acacia, that screams Masonic to me once again. So I think there's much more to this little church than meets the eye. There's definitely. And as I'm continuing to talk, I'm actually starting to get some kind of feeling again, which is what I'm trying to achieve here today. Whether we get anything from it, I don't know. But I mean, there's definitely a presence here, and I can certainly feel the change already. I mean, if there's anyone here, could you not give us a sign to say that you're here? We mean you no harm. We just want to see what you have to say. Any type of sign. Because when other people have done this, they've actually had some kind of response. Okay, they've done it at night time. People say the energy of this church is different at night time, but is that the human mind just playing tricks with them because it's dark, because it's, I don't know, because it looks sinister and scary like a horror movie, I don't know. But it's, what was interesting as well, looking at other people's research into this particular building, is that at the points of the filming, it was only when the people went to edit the film that they ended up hearing and seeing EVP, electronic voice phenomena. Yeah, EVP, they actually had EVP on their recordings that the human ears couldn't pick up on at the time. And it's only when they went back to edit the film that they had responses that they think, oh my God, there was a response. But there wasn't any, so we'll just sort of try again. If there's anyone here, just sort of give us a sign of something. Let us know that you at least exist. I don't believe that the atmosphere has changed in here again. I don't know whether anyone else can sense that, but it's certainly changed. Just give us some kind of sign. See that you're here. I'm just going to go back through here again. It certainly feels colder in here than what it was in the other parts of the building.